Today on Sports Desk, the NHL's game of musical chairs continues. The music stops and Rick Bowness is in Ottawa. The Chicago Bulls are NBA champs for the second straight year. We'll kick around some of the reasons why. And it's Monday. That means get ready for our Plays of the Week.
Sports Desk, brought to you by Motomaster, Canada's #1 selling replacement parts, and by Western Union, the fastest way to send money.
Welcome to the show, everybody. I'm Michael Landsberg. Also ahead over the next half hour, the Whalers go the usual route in signing a new head coach. We'll begin our draft previews, and Larry Holmes in perhaps the most revealing interview you'll ever see with him. But we begin with the Ottawa Senators finally hiring a coach. Now, it's not that they didn't want to hire one earlier. Problem was they couldn't get the man that they wanted. They talked to Brian Sutter, but he turned them down and ended up taking Rick Bowness's job in Boston. Coaching an expansion team is not most coaches' first choice because you know that there's a good chance if the team does eventually win, you won't be there. And in the small world of NHL hockey, the moment Rick Bowness was fired by the Boston Bruins, the Senators began courting him, and today they landed him. Dean Brown reports.
Waiting for Mr. Right might well have been the Senators' theme in their laborious search for a head coach, and now that it's ended, the team's executives are saying it's been well worth the wait.
Single most important thing, he has very good, strong family values as well. You know, there's a experience level and all that. His knowledge of the hockey and all that, that's very high. But he's a good person. He's committed to the game of hockey. He's entered the National Hockey League. He's committed to Ottawa here. And he just has a lot of things that when I weighed them against the other candidates, and it was a tough decision that Rick was the guy for us.
Bowness has signed a multi-year contract with the Senators. It's his third stint behind an NHL bench, having been an interim head coach in Winnipeg and lasting just 1 year in Boston. Without star Cam Neely, he coached the Bruins to a 36-32-12 record, second in the Adams division, and into the NHL semifinals. Still, he was fired, but he claims he's not bitter.
No, I don't look at it that way at all. I look at it as an opportunity to work with these people and to grow with these people. The Boston Bruins are part of my past.
It certainly takes a different kind of coach to work behind the bench of an expansion club. John Ferguson was the boss in Winnipeg when the Jets were fresh and new.
There's no question he'll want to win every night, but it's not going to happen, certainly with the expansion team. But as long as he keeps working with the young, keeps teaching our younger players and communicating with the older players, he'll be a good NHL coach in a hurry.
You want your team to compete night in and night out. And that doesn't mean you're going to win, but it means you're going to be competitive. And if the team beats you, they're going to pay a price to beat you.
With the coach now in place, the focus turns to the players. And to that end, Bowness and the entire Senators management will be heading to Montreal immediately. The expansion draft goes on Thursday and the amateur entry draft on Saturday at the Montreal Forum. Dean Brown, TSN, Ottawa.
The Senators clearly followed the trend in the NHL, the trend for hiring a new coach. A few years ago, the trend was to gamble on a top junior or minor league coach. Now everyone, it seems, hires the guy that someone else has fired. The Hartford Whalers have followed that pattern as well. They have replaced Jimmy Roberts with Paul Holmgren, who was fired by the Flyers in December.
My philosophy is simple. You play hard-nosed, and you outwork the other team every night, and you come out on top most times. I'm going to rely on players like John Cullen, Pat Verbeek, players who are proven point getters in the NHL.
Outwork the other guy, it's easier said than done, as he obviously felt with the Philadelphia Flyers. In 3.5 seasons, his record was well under .500. Not bad in the playoffs. The highlight, I guess, for Paul Holmgren was advancing to the Wales final in his first year as head coach, but it was all downhill from there until he was fired by the Flyers in December. The turnover rate of NHL coaches is close to staggering. 22 teams played last year. 9 of them have changed coaches since the season ended. More than half the teams have changed since the start of last season. And it's not like guys are getting a long time to do the job either. Jimmy Roberts, like Rick Bowness, coached for just a year. By the way, he's been offered a job within the Whalers organization, or the Whalers organization. Los Angeles job is still open. The Kings told us today that the only person they have interviewed so far is Barry Melrose, who coaches their minor league team. As for the defending champions, two-time defending champs, the Penguins have not started talking to Scotty Bowman, but it's no secret that Bowman would like to give up the coaching part of his job. Stay with us when we return. We'll begin our profiles of the top talent available in Saturday's NHL draft, and we begin with the defenseman that everybody's got their eye on. He's 6'5", Mike Ratchey from the Medicine Hat Tigers. Scouts say when he learns the game, look out. And the Bulls are champions, and we'll kick around some of the reasons why. Those stories when Sports Desk returns, so stay with us.
Today, or your father and I could be washed away.
When you need to send money to someone fast, come to Western Union. We'll make sure it gets to any of our over 19,000 locations across Canada, the U.S., or worldwide in minutes.
I'm calling about your son Grover. You better send money. His ski trip's over.
Western Union, the fastest way to send money. With over 700 locations across Canada. Call us for one near you.
Nature provides a unique way of getting away from it all. So does the Great Canadian Getaway at Canadian Tire, where this week there are great prices on everything you need to get your car ready for your getaway.
STP son-of-a-gun protectant makes even old tires look like new. And this week only at Canadian Tire, it's just $3.49 during the Great Canadian Getaway only at Canadian Tire. With STP, even the biggest jobs seem easy.
The Pepto-Bismol upset of the week. Saturday at the Stella Artois Grass Court Championships in London, Shuzo Matsuoka of Japan, ranked number 81 in the world, against the number 1 seed and defending champion Stefan Edberg. Matsuoka survives 6 match points to beat Edberg. For Edberg, a huge upset. For Matsuoka, the biggest win of his career. Pepto-Bismol. Give your stomach troubles good medicine.
If you've ever had acid indigestion, what I'm about to show you is surprising. Think of this rose as your stomach. Watch what happens when I dip it in concentrated acid. Serious stuff. Now, watch how Pepto-Bismol coats this rose and works to protect it. Don't suffer with indigestion. Get the effective coating action of Pepto-Bismol. Serious medicine for your stomach.
You can't teach size, and you can't teach speed. And when a player has those skills, he catches your eye. The NHL entry draft is this Saturday, and between now and then, we'll be looking at some of the top prospects. We begin with perhaps the best size-speed combination available. 6'5", 205-pound Mike Ratchey from the Medicine Hat Tigers. He's a slim 205 and skates beautifully and should go over the first few picks. Here's Peter Watts with more on Mike Ratchey.
The Mike Ratchey story begins in Manville, Alberta, 18 years ago. His route through minor hockey was no different than that of many youngsters, except perhaps for the fact that by the age of 15, he was much taller than many of his teammates. He played a number of positions before settling in as a blue liner with Chris Deacon's Sherwood Park Midgets 3 years ago. It was Deacon and later Tim Bothwell, his coach at Medicine Hat, who gave Mike Ratchey the chance to play defense.
He helped me learn the game when I was 16. I got to play a lot because of him. You know, he had the philosophy of whoever plays hard will get to play. So I got a lot of ice time and stuff when I was 16, and you know, he showed me a lot how to play defense and stuff.
Ratchey made the under-18 team, which went to the Pacific Rim Tournament in Tokyo last summer, but he was not invited to the World Junior Camp, nor to the Canadian Junior All-Star Game last February in Saskatoon. Still, this plaque shows what Ratchey meant to the Tigers this past season and why a steady progression of scouts have beat a path to his door.
When I first came into the league and like when I was in midget, I thought going to the WHL was a big thing. But when I come here and like this year, I thought, holy smokes, I could get drafted pretty high.
Ratchey's been interviewed by a number of teams, among them Tampa Bay, which has the number 1 pick in the amateur draft.
Going number 1 would be a great feeling in that, but to get into the league and play is another honor for me.
Mike Ratchey's family will be with him to share in the moment on Saturday at the Forum in Montreal, as yet another young Canadian takes yet another step toward fulfilling the quintessential Canadian dream, playing the game of hockey in the best league in the world. Peter Watts, TSN, Medicine Hat, Alberta.
Rathje will be at the Forum. His family will be at the Forum, and you can be there as well if you join us. We will have the opening rounds of the 1992 entry draft live on TSN Saturday at noon Eastern Time. Plus, of course, the expansion draft is coming up. You can see it live on TSN. We'll be there for all the developments on SportsDesk, a special hour edition for the draft at 6 o'clock Eastern Time on Thursday night. Now, the expansion draft was very much on the minds of general managers today as they wheeled and dealed to try to protect themselves as best they could. Several deals to tell you about, nothing of the major variety. The Winnipeg Jets sent goaltender Stefan Beauregard to the Buffalo Sabres for defenseman Christian Ruutu. Brad Marsh would have been a candidate for the expansion draft, but today Marsh was dealt by Detroit back to Toronto for future considerations. Leafs sent him to Detroit, actually, before the season. Marsh had one of his best offensive years in Detroit. He scored 3 goals. Leafs also dealt for goalie Jarmo Milas from the San Jose Sharks. Again, it was for future considerations. Same thing for the Hartford Whalers today. They sent defenseman Brad Shaw to the New Jersey Devils for future considerations. Now, 2 live bodies did swap teams today. Again, it was the Whalers involved. They sent right-winger Mark Hunter to the Washington Capitals in exchange for left-winger Nick Kyprios. Peter Klima needs a change in scenery, and he might get it. Word is that the Detroit Red Wings are trying to get him back. Klima had career lows last year with just 21 goals and 13 assists. The Wings have reportedly offered former first-round pick Mike Sillinger, but the Oilers want a second minor leaguer as well. The Chicago Bulls are champions once again. The Chicago Bulls beat the Portland Trail Blazers yesterday to win the series 4-2 and become just the 4th NBA franchise to repeat as champions. Now, that's a huge accomplishment, and while the Bulls were not spectacular in beating the Blazers, they did have a big edge in several areas. And in the end, those that were supposed to perform for them did perform.
To win a championship in any sport, a team needs a leader, someone who will rise to the occasion when he is needed most. And the Bulls were led by their leader, Michael Jordan. When Chicago trailed in the 4th quarter in Game 6, Jordan took charge and scored 10 of the Bulls' last 12 points. It was that type of leadership that the Blazers lacked throughout the series.
What was at stake, I think everybody played their ultimate best. And we had to, 17 points down in the 4th quarter, and everybody played well, and I just wanted the opportunity to get back in and redeem myself.
Many feel that the Blazers were outcoached in the series as well, especially in Game 6 when Phil Jackson went to his second unit when the Bulls trailed by 17 points in the 4th period.
It was going to be a definite drive for us to have to win the 4th quarter. I needed to go with something that was unique and energized.
I'm very proud of those guys, man. I hugged them, I kissed them, I told them I love them. I mean, that's the support that I try to give to them, because it means so much to our team. And I think that, with the way that they brought us back in the 4th quarter was very evident in terms of what they meant for us. And, the starters are very appreciative of our second team.
Rick Adelman is a good coach, but the expectations in Portland are unbelievably high. Management, fans, and the local media feel that the Blazers have the best personnel in the league, but the Bulls proved that they don't.
I'm extremely proud of my team. It's not always going to work. It's not always going to be what you want. Sometimes you can say that, and I'm sure it will be said, but they did a great job.
It certainly has been a long, strange trip this year. It's 100 and some games for us. Last year was a honeymoon. This year was an odyssey.
Well, the odyssey took an ugly turn. After the game, the celebration spilled onto the city streets and things turned violent. 1,000 police officers could do little to prevent the violence. 2 of the officers suffered slight gunshot wounds. At least 90 officers were injured. More than 1,000 people were arrested despite the police presence. Taxi cabs were turned over, windows were smashed, and stores were looted. Some shopkeepers sprayed fire extinguishers to keep people away. During the celebration, a new game was invented, head-first diving off taxi cabs. Philadelphia 76ers general manager Jim Lynam admits that he has talked with the Phoenix Suns about dealing them Charles Barkley, but he denies that they are close to a deal. The hot rumor has Barkley going to Phoenix for guard Kevin Johnson, forward Tim Perry, and center Andrew Lang. Now, one of the keys to any deal with star players is what impact they would have on a team's chances of making the salary cap. Stay with us. We have lots more to come. We've got all the baseball coming up, and since this is Monday, of course, we have gone through all the videotapes, and we have come up with our Nissan plays of the week, and I dare say this week's is a vintage bunch. And some vintage Larry Holmes as he prepares for his big fight with Evander Holyfield. Take it away, Larry.
I think God blessed me. I'm the greatest thing ever. I love me. Thank God for Larry Holmes.
On the is out to break some records during the Smart Money Marathon with great deals on the Sonata, the mid-size family sedan with a 2-liter 16-valve engine. Now it's only $10,995. That's over $2,000 off. Make a deal on the all-new Elantra, 16 valves, DOHC performance, aerodynamic styling, all for just $9,995. This sporty sedan comes with no charge automatic, and if you're really quick, catch the sporty scoop. It comes with no charge automatic for only $9,995. Run down to your Hyundai dealer now and catch the Smart Money Marathon.
Nature provides a unique way of getting away from it all. So does the Great Canadian Getaway at Canadian Tire, where this week there are great prices on everything you need to get your car ready for your getaway.
Okay, here's where we tried to stop in St. Agapit. Then we almost stopped in Wawa and Matane, and
Save 20% on brakes and installation until Saturday, June 27th, during the Great Canadian Getaway only at Canadian Tire.
Winnipeg and Moose Jaw and,
Send the money today, or your father and I couldn't be washed away.
When you need to send money to someone fast, come to Western Union. We'll make sure it gets to any of our over 19,000 locations across Canada, the U.S., or worldwide in minutes.
I'm calling about your son Grover. You better send money. His ski trip's over.
Western Union, the fastest way to send money. With over 700 locations across Canada. Call us for one near you.
On this day, what a day. June the 15th, 1938, the Cincinnati Reds' Johnny Vandermeer becomes the only player in baseball history to pitch no-hitters in 2 consecutive games. Vandermeer's second no-hitter came in a 6-0 win over the Brooklyn Dodgers at Ebbets Field in Brooklyn 4 days earlier. Vandermeer no-hit the Boston Braves, facing the Reds to a 3-0 victory. Johnny Vandermeer pitches his consecutive no-hitter, the second one, 54 years ago today. That is amazing. No one's ever been close. This was supposed to be the day that Commissioner Fay Vincent ruled on George Steinbrenner's return to baseball. But Vincent says he has had new information made available to him and he must review it. Now, sources inside the Yankee organization have said that the new information relates to Steinbrenner breaking Vincent's rules about not running the team during his ban from baseball. Toronto Blue Jays have today off after rescuing their series yesterday with the Boston Red Sox and gaining a split. Jays are a game ahead of the Orioles and begin a series tomorrow at home with the Detroit Tigers. Joe Carter, no surprise, was named American League Player of the Week today. He had an outstanding week and really was the leader for the Jays. He had 4 home runs, 8 RBI, and he hit .483 for the week. Expos had a terrible weekend in Chicago, being swept by the less than brilliant Cubs. Montreal has moved over to New York, where the Mets have not been brilliant in a long, long time. As a matter of fact, the Mets were swept by the Pirates on the weekend, and that meant that since last year's All-Star break, the Mets had the 3rd worst record in all of baseball. You can see tonight's game at 7:30 Eastern Time on TSN. Mark Gardner was 0-3 last year against the Mets. Anthony Young starts for New York. He's coming off a loss to the Expos. Now, the Mets have lost 12 of 16. And with more on the Mets and their problems, we go to Ken Singleton, who's with manager Jeff Torborg. Ken?
Jeff, the Expos come in. They've lost 3 straight in Chicago. We come in here to New York. The Mets have lost 4 straight to Pittsburgh. And things not going well for either club. And fans have a tendency to think about what can be done very quickly. Can things be done quickly as far as that standpoint from a ball club?
Well, unfortunately, you know, the media gets to the point where they want to know what are you going to do right away, and then the fans read what the media has said, basically. And the feeling from the baseball standpoint is we have 101 games left, and we just have to go out each. It doesn't matter what you've done before, whether you've won or lost. Those games are over. You can't do anything about them. So what's the next most important one? That's the next game. Tonight, for us, it's this game. For your club, it's the same thing. All you can do is work hard in preparation, hopefully get the hits you need during the game, and that'll turn things around. But you only play them one at a time, and that's, you know, the cliche, but it's true.
You know, you look back at what has gone on in the past year, and the media certainly will point it out. What has been wrong with the Mets so far?
Just about anything you could think about, we've been able to touch on it. You know, when you start to play bad baseball, something will happen on the offensive side. We don't get the big hit, or we run the bases improperly. We'll make a damaging error, and all of a sudden our pitching won't hold up. So you're hit every aspect of the game. Of course, I didn't mention anything about poor managing in there, but when you don't win, you know, you don't look like you've done anything right. But it's with us, we had some struggle defensively, but most importantly, that can be covered very often by a few extra runs. We have not gotten the big hit when we need it most offensively.
Well, Jeff, you're right. That's why they make it a 162-game season. Back to you, Michael.
Thanks, Kenny. Jeff Torborg in a better mood than perhaps we would have expected. Seems like a nice guy. Barry Bonds swings hard, very hard, and last night he paid the price for his mighty swing, not by missing the ball, but by hurting himself. It was a freak kind of accident. In the 9th inning against the Mets, Bonds took his normal swing and hit a ground ball. But then he hit the ground. They x-rayed him today for a possible broken rib, but found no damage, so he's listed as day-to-day. They are calling it a strained rib muscle. Tim Salmon is having an incredible season. Tim Salmon's an outfielder for the Edmonton Trappers. He's leading his league in home runs and runs batted in, and he's second in average. And as Ken Chillibeck reports, all of that has his manager making some lofty comparisons.
Hey,
A career as a professional baseball player is a big gamble. Many try, few make it. Tim Salmon is playing his cards right with the Edmonton Trappers of the Pacific Coast League. 23-year-old rookie outfielder is off to a great start. Not only is he showing his power at the plate, but maybe more importantly, he's cutting down on strikeouts.
Last year, you know, I started off the season tough, had a lot of strikeouts early on, and it was, you know, cutting down the strikeouts and just staying consistent at the plate.
Trappers manager Max Oliveras calls Tim Salmon a possible impact player in the major leagues, and when he makes comparisons, he doesn't fool around either. He feels that he has the potential to be maybe another Jose Canseco.
In my mind, he's that good, you know, he's very tough-minded.
Salmon knows he has a lot to learn. Doesn't feel, though, his fielding is a liability. One thing the Phoenix, Arizona native has learned from Trappers manager Max Oliveras is to have a little fun. Sometimes he takes the game too seriously.
Anytime you start to get down, he always gives you a big smile, and that's a reminder, hey, smile, you know, and once you smile, it kind of loosens you up a little bit, and that's what, you know, we're down here to have, is fun and to work on the things that, you know, it's going to get us to the big leagues.
As a youngster, Salmon's dream was to play pro football. That changed about 10 years ago. Now a pro baseball career is his goal. And the way he's going, it's just around the corner.
It's definitely a dream of mine, and, you know, hopefully keep, you know, plodding along like I'm doing, and I'll get there. You know.
Ken Chillibeck, TSN in Edmonton.
Now, if Tim Salmon's a future Jose Canseco, he may make our next feature a few times, hopefully for all the right reasons, nothing to do with his car. But it's not just the great plays that catch our eye. Time now for our Nissan Plays of the Week, and I am psyched for these bunch.
You know, they say genuine draft never heat pasteurized. Come on, what's this? You can't see the flames on this golfer, but he certainly seems to be on fire. They say that carrots are great for your eyesight. Nice hat as well. John Kruk could use some in his diet. Could use a diet, period. Better eyesight might help the New York Mets. And could, but probably won't, help the Los Angeles Dodgers. There were some great plays this week. Dick Schofield ranges to his right and somehow throws the runner out. And same thing for Jay Bell. Goes to his right and throws a bullet to first base. And how good was it? It was so good, Rick Cerrone was dancing. Luis Polonia back to the warning track and right into the wall. The ump says, ooh, that's a nice catch. Pinch me. Am I dreaming? How about Clyde Drexler? No dream here, just a great play. And Don Bees, you know, if he makes this 90-foot putt, well, if he makes it, pigs could bowl. The pigs were bowling. Now, I wonder, do they make him rent those ugly shoes? Evander Holyfield didn't rent the shoes, but I'll tell you what, he had the pretty nice form on the lanes. And Larry Holmes out fishing for a title. Wonder what kind of hook he's using. Could it be the same hook that Mark Gastineau's using here or getting here? He wasn't the only one to hit the canvas. How about Danny Ainge? Runs into the cameraman who hits the turf. And apparently Jerome Kersey, a good friend of the cameraman, took exception to Ainge's collision. Speaking of taking exception, Sandy Alomar Jr. took exception and won the George Bell Award for the best drop kick this week. And we almost had a bench-clearing rundown. And you know what? It's about time the pit crews fought back. Yeah, when the car's not working, hit the darn thing. Well, it's almost time to wrap it up, but before we do, before we drive away, now, no hitchhikers there, we thought there's a few things you'd like to hear.
Now the squeeze is on, and it's popped right back to Baver, and he threw it away. McGee's got to go back to third. He touches it, and here he comes. And the throw is up the line, and he's going to make it. I don't believe it.
And finally, this is beautiful. Bob Friend has a question.
Will you marry me?
Yeah.
Oh, that's a bad move. She said yes before even checking out the ring. You know, this mushy stuff just makes me want to gag.
The plays of the week are brought to you in part by Nissan, built for the human race.
We believe satisfaction goes beyond the best bumper-to-bumper protection in Canada, or the best coverage on major components, or even free roadside assistance around the clock. It goes as far as the Nissan Satisfaction Commitment, the most comprehensive full-line customer care program ever, and standard on every 1992 Nissan, because we believe warranty should protect the people who drive the cars, not the people who make them. Nissan, built for the human race.
Boris Becker has fired another coach today. He released Thomas Schmid. It's the fourth coach, and that means that he will enter the Wimbledon Championships 1 week from today without a coach. European Soccer Championships continue today with first-round action. Scotland faced Germany, and this was a pretty good one. First half action, Germany with a nice ball movement from in close. Jürgen Klinsmann leaves it for Karl-Heinz Riedel. Riedel puts it along the ground, 1-0 Germany. Now, second half, bad luck for Scotland. Stefan Effenberg, isn't he a tennis player? With the shot from the right side, the ball deflects off Maurice Malphus and floated in along the far post. Germany leads 2-0. Germany wins 2-0. Stefan Effenberg. So 2-0. Germany beats Scotland. And also today, it was the Netherlands and the, well, sort of Soviet Union, 0-0. Call him the CIS. It's easier. Larry Holmes has been a great heavyweight fighter. But, you know, listening to him, I never really knew who he was. When he first fought, it always seemed that he was trying to be another Muhammad Ali. And then after he came back, he seemed to be trying to be another George Foreman, joking all the time about his weight. Well, what follows is an interview that he gave Charlie Steiner. And the real Holmes starts to emerge here.
I fight for money. Money pays the rent, pays the bills. Do I have to fight? No, I don't have to fight. I'm very wealthy. You know, I have buildings, $5 million buildings, it's paid off. How many people can say that? I have a hotel that's paid off. I have other properties that paid off. I'm financially set in my life, don't have to fight, but the $7 million that I'm getting for this fight is a piece of cake.
Do you feel you got the respect that you, in your own mind, deserve as heavyweight champion?
Well, that's something that you got to earn, and I tried to earn it. Whether they give it to me or not, it really didn't matter as long as they didn't confront me with a lot of Riddick name-calling and junk like that in my face, because I earn respect. And by earning respect, I give respect. And anytime somebody gives me $1 million, I feel that that's respect enough. So when the critics, when the news media like yourself come out and say, he didn't get the respect he deserved, well, I damn sure did, because if you look at my bank account and see that I got respect. And a lot of people might say that Larry Holmes, that's all he wants is money. But try to live without it. Rocky couldn't carry my jockstrap. I said Marciano can carry my jockstrap. I say Charlie Steiner can carry my jockstrap. What you gonna make out of that? You gonna make me apologize for saying that? You know, it's just a slang. It don't mean anything. You tell me I can't carry yours, so I can't carry yours. It's not a big thing. It's not a big issue. But sometimes people will make a big issue out of it. I say I'm the best thing ever happened to this world. I think God bless me. I'm the greatest thing ever. I love me. Thank God for Larry Holmes. And if I don't feel that way about me, why should you feel good about me? I love Larry Holmes. If we was in the war and we were fighting side by side, we the best of buddies. If you get killed, I'm not going to go crazy. I'll say, thank God it wasn't me. And then ain't nobody in this world wouldn't say, or they can't say that I didn't stand up. I stand up to boxing organizations. I stand up to managers and promoters. I stand up to ESPN, ABC, CBS, TVKO, or HBO, or any other network. If they do something that is not right or I don't like, I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to sacrifice myself to make Charlie Steiner happy if I don't feel that that's the right thing to do. But if I can do something that will make Charlie Steiner happy, and I feel good about doing it, I'll be glad to do it.
You made me happy sitting down talking.
I know I did. Don't you ever forget it.
Never seen him like that. That's SportsDesk. Thanks for joining us. For everybody at TSN, I'm Michael Lansford.
SportsDesk, brought to you by Motomaster, Canada's #1 selling replacement parts, and by Western Union, the fastest way to send money.